The morning bell rang sharply at St. Evelyn's College, a prestigious private school tucked away in the highbrow area of Lekki, Lagos. Students rushed into their classrooms, their uniforms neat, their faces fresh with the glow of money and privilege. Everyone, that is, except Amarachi Ikenna. Amarachi stood at the school gate, her back hunched under the weight of her overstuffed backpack. Her uniform, though neatly ironed, had clearly seen better days. The hem of her skirt was frayed, and her once white socks had faded into a pale gray. But what drew the most attention were her shoes, worn-out black sandals stitched at the sides with visible thread, the soles nearly detached. A group of students passed by, giggling. "See that charity case again," whispered Dora, the daughter of the senator. "Even beggars on the street dress better. Why is she in this school?" "She probably washes toilets here to pay fees," said Mitchell, laughing. Amarachi heard every word, but she kept her head high and walked toward Class SS2C. She had grown used to the mockery. Every day was the same: ridicule, whispers, isolation. No one sat with her during lunch, and no one partnered with her during group projects unless they were forced to. She was invisible in a school that worshipped wealth and appearances. But Amarachi had something none of them had: purpose. Her father, once a promising civil engineer, had died in a freak road accident when she was 9. Her mother, a petty trader, sold vegetables by the roadside and hawked fruits to send Amarachi to school. They lived in a one-room apartment in Ajigunle, surviving on grit and prayer. Every day, Amarachi promised herself, "One day they'll know who I am, not by what I wear, but by what I become." That afternoon, a major announcement rocked the school. The annual Future Leaders Debate Championship would be hosted by the school for the first time. The prize? A full university scholarship, 500,000 cash, a mentorship trip to the UK. The entire school buzzed with excitement. Mr. Allowale, the debate coordinator, stepped into SS2C the next morning. "I need one student from this class to compete at the regional level. Who's interested?" No one raised a hand. Then Amarachi stood up slowly. The class erupted in laughter. "You?" Mitchell spat. "You want to speak English on a stage? With that your bend-down select grammar?" Mr. Allowale silenced the class with a sharp glare. "She has every right to try. Amarachi, see me after class." After school, he handed her a massive file of topics and smiled kindly. "Don't let their laughter define you. I've seen your essays. You're brilliant. You just need to believe it." It was the first time anyone in the school said something kind to her. As Amarachi stayed up late every night rehearsing and preparing, some of her classmates plotted. Mitchell couldn't believe someone from a gutter background could win something so prestigious. She convinced Dora and her clique to stop at nothing to humiliate Amarachi. One morning, Amarachi opened her locker and found her debate script missing. In its place was a note: "You'll never be one of us. Quit now while you still have your dirty sandals." Tears stung her eyes, but she refused a break. She rewrote her script from memory, working twice as hard. Her mother encouraged her every night with cups of hot gari and whispered prayers. When the day of the regional debate came, Amarachi stepped onto the stage. Dressed in her mother's borrowed church dress and her old, stitched sandals, she faced a sea of wealthy, confident competitors. Then she spoke. An entire auditorium fell silent. Her words were powerful. Her voice was clear and compelling. She spoke about education as a tool for justice and shared a personal story that moved the judges and the crowd to tears. When the results were announced, everyone held their breath. The winner, representing St. Evelyn's College, Amarachi Ikenna. The hall erupted. Her classmates sat in stunned silence. 1 week after the debate victory, everything changed. Amarachi's name was on every student's lips, not as a girl with torn shoes, but as a girl who defeated champions. Teachers praised her. The principal shook her hand. Her classmates looked at her differently. Even Mitchell and Dora kept an uneasy silence. But the wounds of their mockery ran deep. Amarachi didn't smile back. She walked past them with dignity, but not bitterness. Still, victory brought more than applause. It stirred something in her past. A sudden visit. One evening, after a long day of debate training, Amarachi arrived home to find her mother sitting silently on a wooden stool outside their house. A small, tattered envelope rested in her hand. "Mama, what is that?" Her mother's eyes were watery. "Your father. He told me to give this to you when you turn 17. But something about that stage today made me change my mind." Amarachi took the envelope. Inside it was a handwritten letter and a faded photograph of a man standing in front of a large white building with the words, "Ikena Group of Schools," engraved on a signboard. Her eyes widened. "Ikena? That's our name." Her mother nodded slowly. "Your father wasn't just a civil engineer. He co-founded a chain of private schools with his elder brother. But he walked away from it when they had a falling out. He refused to fight for his share because he was tired of family betrayal." "So, what does this mean?" "It means your father built something big, and your uncle has been running it alone since he died. But that man never acknowledged us. He never gave us a single kobo." The room spun around Amarachi. Her father had built a school empire, and she had been mocked in a school her family once had the power to own. Digging deeper. Amarachi couldn't sleep that night. The photograph haunted her. She began to research the Ikena Group of Schools online. What she found stunned her. The chain had expanded to 5 branches across Lagos and Abuja. The current director? A certain Chief Chibiz Ikena, her uncle. And it got worse. She found an old business article that said, after the death of his co-founder in 2011, Chief Chibiz Ikena became sole owner. There was no mention of her father. No tribute. No acknowledgement. Her chest tightened. "So, he erased my father's legacy and left us in poverty." That night, she made a silent vow. "I'll reclaim what's ours, but not through war. I'll rise until he has no choice but to recognize me and regret everything." The next morning, as her mother prepared breakfast, Amarachi helped her wash the old cooking pots. One pot, the blackened, dented iron one they rarely used, felt oddly heavy. She opened the lid and screamed. Inside, wrapped in plastic, was an old safe deposit certificate and a seal-brown envelope marked confidential. Her mother gasped. That was your father's hiding place. He said, "If anything happens to me, this pot will guard my truth." I forgot it even existed. Inside the envelope was a signed partnership agreement between her father and his brother, proof that he was entitled to 50% ownership of the Ikena school empire. There was also a lawyer's card attached with the words, "If anything happens to me, contact Bar. Paul Uma." Amarachi's hands shook as she stared at the documents. Everything they mocked me for, everything we lacked, we had all along. It was stolen from us. Unbeknownst to Amarachi, her discovery had triggered something. That same week, a sleek black car parked 2 streets away from their house. Inside sat a man in dark shades, holding a file with her picture on it. He made a call. "She's found something. The daughter. Amarachi. Keep watching. If she speaks to the press or lawyers, silence her." A soft laugh followed. "We can't let a girl with torn shoes become a threat." 3 days after discovering her father's hidden documents, Amarachi's world shifted from silent dreams to dangerous realities. She hadn't told anyone outside her mother and Pastor John, the only man her mother trusted with secrets. But someone else already knew, and he was watching. That Monday morning, as Amarachi entered St. Evelyn's gates, a sleek, metallic black Range Rover pulled up beside her. The tinted window rolled down to reveal a sharply dressed man in a navy blue suit. His wristwatch gleamed like glass under sunlight. "Amarachi Ikena?" She paused, startled. "Yes." "My name is Mr. Maxwell. I work with Vision Africa Foundation. Our organization supports brilliant, underprivileged students. We've heard about your recent debate win. Our director would love to meet you. We're interested in sponsoring your entire education, locally or abroad." Her eyes widened. Was this the breakthrough she had prayed for? But something about the man's smile was too perfect, too rehearsed. Still, after asking for more details and seeing his official ID, she agreed to meet the director. Later that week, she found herself standing in the lavish office of the director of Vision Africa Foundation. The office sat on the top floor of a massive glass building in Victoria Island. Everything smelled of wealth: mahogany walls, imported paintings, a chandelier that looked like floating diamonds. Then he entered. Tall, but thick voice, gold rings on each finger, eyes like frozen metal. "Amarachi, welcome. I've followed your progress for months now," he said. She frowned slightly. "Months? But I just won a debate recently." He chuckled. "Some talents don't wait to be noticed. Your story, your rise, it's inspiring. Let me be part of your journey. Let me fund your future." She stared at him. "And what do you want in return?" The man gave a tight smile. "Just loyalty, trust. There are people who won't want you to succeed. People who will try to bring up your past. But with me, you'll never lack anything again." Something felt off. The way he watched her. The way his smile never reached his eyes. Still, he gave her a scholarship document, all legal and sealed. "Too perfect. I'm offering you the key to a new life. Think about it." That night, Amarachi couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the director's words. She decided to call Barrister Paul Uma, the lawyer mentioned in her father's hidden letter. She hadn't reached out to him yet. But now, something told her to act fast. When he answered, his voice trembled at the sound of her name. "Are you Emeka Ikena's daughter?" "Yes, sir." Silence. Then he said, "Don't trust anyone who offers you sudden help, especially not Maxwell, or the man behind Vision Africa. Your Uncle Chibi's funds that organization. He's trying to corner you before you realize what power you hold." Amarachi's throat went dry. Why would he? Because he knows if you claim your father's 50%, you become co-owner of the entire Ikena school empire. But if he binds you in a personal contract first, legally, he owns your future. Her heart slammed in her chest. The pieces were clicking fast. The sudden interest in her, the scholarship offer. It wasn't generosity. It was a trap. The next morning, Amarachi returned to the foundation building alone. Mr. Maxwell smiled, assuming she was ready to sign. She placed the contract back on his desk. "I'm not signing anything. Tell your director that if he truly wants to help me, he can start by returning my father's name to the company history." Maxwell's smile faltered. "You think you're wise?" "No, I think I'm awake now." She turned and walked out. That was the moment she stopped being a poor girl with dreams and started becoming a young woman with purpose. That evening, their home was broken into. Their documents were stolen. Her mother was pushed, but unharmed. The pot where they'd hidden the agreement was smashed. Amarachi's voice shook as she called Barrister Uma. "They took everything. They know I'm not backing down." The lawyer sighed. "Don't worry. I made certified copies the moment you sent photos. We'll take this to court. I don't have money for court. I'll do it for free. For your father. Amarachi hung up, heart pounding. If they thought stealing the papers would stop her, they had no idea what she had become. The courtroom was quiet, eerily quiet. Amarachi stood at the edge of the room beside Barrister Paul Uma, wearing her mother's second-best wrapper, sewn into a gown. The judge entered, a woman with silver-rimmed glasses and eyes that missed nothing. The case file read, Miss Amarachi Ikenna versus Chief Chibiz Ikenna. Dispute over 50% ownership of Ikenna Group of Schools. Chief Chibiz walked in with flair. Dressed in agbada woven with gold threads, flanked by 3 lawyers and a media crew, he wore the air of a man confident he had already won. He didn't even look in Amarachi's direction. But she looked straight at him. This is the man who erased my father from history. This is the man who left us in hunger, mocked me with silence, and now wants to own even my future. Not today. Barrister Uma opened with strength. Your Honor, Exhibit A is the original signed partnership agreement, bearing both founders' names, Mr. Emeka Ikenna and Chief Chibiz Ikenna. My client, Amarachi, is Mr. Emeka's only child and legal heir. She is entitled to her father's 50% share. Chief Chibiz's lead lawyer smirked. Objection. That document could be forged. It was conveniently discovered after 12 years of silence. Barrister Uma responded calmly. We also present bank records, emails, and business registration documents to support our claim. All verified. The judge nodded slowly, eyes narrowed in thought. Just as things seemed to tip in Amarachi's favor, the unexpected happened. Mitchell, yes, Mitchell, her former classmate and chief tormentor, walked into the courtroom and crossed over to Chief Chibiz's side. Your Honor, she said confidently, I have proof that Amarachi attempted to bribe me into faking documents in her favor. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Amarachi's heart dropped. Mitchell held up a voice recording on her phone. It was edited, a choppy audio stitched with fake lines. So you lie for me? I'll pay you $50,000 if you help me win this case. It sounded like Amarachi's voice. But it was wrong. Barrister Uma stood, furious. This is an obvious deepfake. And this witness has a long-standing personal grudge against my client. Her testimony is biased and malicious. The judge agreed to delay judgment until the evidence could be analyzed. As Amarachi left the courtroom that day, tears stung her eyes. How could Mitchell go this far? Was this revenge? Was she being paid? It felt like everything was slipping. The ally in the shadows. Later that night, Amarachi sat outside the house in silence, barely touching her food. Her mother came out holding an old Nokia phone. Someone left a voice message. I think you should hear it. Amarachi played the message. It was Dora's voice, the second former class bully. Amarachi, please don't hang up. I didn't know Mitchell would go that far. I only followed her back then because I was scared. She's being paid by someone close to your uncle. I have proof, and I want to help you. Hashtag enemies become tools. Truth becomes fire. The next morning, Dora met Amarachi at a small bakery in Yaba. She handed over a USB drive and an envelope of chat printouts between Mitchell and one of Chibiz's assistants. One message read, Make sure the audio sounds like Amarachi. She must look like a fraud. I've delivered. Expect chaos tomorrow. Amarachi clenched her fists. She had her truth. And now, she had proof of their lies. At the next court appearance, Dora testified under oath. She confessed everything. The judge's gavel struck hard. This court declares a submitted recording by Miss Mitchell to be inadmissible and confirms that Miss Amarachi Ikena is the legal heir of Mr. Emeka Ikena. She is entitled to her father's 50% ownership of the Ikena group of schools. The room exploded. Reporters ran forward. Chief Chibi's face collapsed into stone. But before he walked out, he whispered lowly to Amarachi, "You may have the law on your side, but I built an empire. I'll make sure you don't enjoy a single day of it." Amarachi didn't flinch. "I didn't come for comfort. I came for justice. And I got it." 2 weeks later, the signboard outside the Ikena Group headquarters changed. Founders: Chief Chibi's Ikena, Lady NGR. Emeka Ikena. Current co-owner, Amarachi Ikena. The same girl who once ate dry Gary by lantern light. The same girl mocked for her sandals. The same girl no one wanted to sit with. Now, she sat at the board table with equal power. The office was cold, not because the air conditioner was too strong, but because power came with frost Amarachi wasn't prepared for. Her name was now printed on the official documents of Ikena Group of schools. Her face was in the newspapers. The girl who rose from nothing to claim an empire, one headline read. But behind the congratulatory headlines and photo ops was a thick wall of hostility. The first board meeting came fast. Amarachi stepped into glass wall room, wearing her best blazer, bought by Pastor John's wife as a gift. Around the table sat powerful men and women in suits worth more than her mother's life savings. Chief Chibi sat at the head of the table. He didn't look at her. The meeting began, and immediately the tension cracked. With all due respect, began Mr. Adalai, a long-time investor. She's a child. What does she know about education administration? We are running a multi-billion naira institution, not a campus drama club. She owns 50%, Barrister Uma reminded him. She doesn't need to know everything. She has the right to learn. And led. Chibi's finally spoke. Let her stay. If she fails, it'll prove what I've always said. Blood means nothing without wisdom. A murmur of approval went around the table. They didn't fear her. They were waiting for her to fall. Amarachi remained calm, but deep inside her stomach twisted. They will watch every step I take. Waiting. Plotting. In the weeks that followed, Amarachi was given an office, small, windowless, and tucked behind the school's finance wing. Staff members barely greeted her. Secretaries forgot to send her documents. Her emails were mysteriously deleted before they reached board members. Yet she showed up every day. She read every policy file, attended every department meeting, spoke to teachers, watched how the students were treated, and she saw things no one had spoken about publicly: corruption. Students from poor homes were being forced out with hidden charges. Funds allocated for library upgrades had vanished on paper. Some school branches were in disrepair despite hefty government grants. She took notes, and she planned. One evening, while working late, a call came through from an unknown number. Miss Amarachi, I admire your fight, but you've made enemies, big ones. They don't want you here. They don't want change. You're too young and too loud for your own good. She froze. Who is this? The voice chuckled. Just someone who survived long enough in this world by staying silent. If you want peace, take your share and leave. Go abroad. Live rich. Forget justice. And if I don't, you'll disappear. Not physically, but your name, your power, your voice, gone. We've done it before. The line went dead. The next day, Amarachi walked into the general staff meeting and did something no one expected. She raised a new proposal. Remove illegal fees for low-income students. Launch a transparent audit into financial misconduct. Install student and teacher feedback boxes in every school branch. Freeze board salaries for 6 months to fund the repairs in Aja and Kubwa branches. The room went quiet. Then it exploded. This is madness. She's trying to destroy us from within. Who gave her this authority? She stood tall. The same person who built this place alongside Chief Chabiz. My father, Emeka Ikena. Later that evening, Barrister Uma called her. I've received something disturbing. One of your trusted allies has filed a motion to sell part of your shares without your consent. What? Amarachi whispered. It's someone close. Someone you trusted in school. Someone you brought into your inner circle after the trial. Amarachi's heart pounded. No, not Dora. But the document didn't lie. Dora had secretly been working with Chief Chabiz all along. She had earned Amarachi's trust after exposing Mitchell, but it was all a long game. A ploy, a dagger hidden inside a smile. She wasn't an ally. She was a spy. Amarachi didn't cry. She walked to her office, packed up her bag, and looked out the small window. Then she opened her laptop and wrote an official email. Subject: Press conference. The truth about Ikena Group's rot. She attached evidence of Dora's betrayal, documents proving embezzlement by top board members, testimonies from underpaid teachers and suspended students. She was done playing nice. If they wanted war, they would get it. Not from the poor girl in stitched sandals, but from the co-owner of a billion-naira empire. The press conference hall was packed. Journalists from every major media outlet in Nigeria had come to see the girl everyone was now calling the Lioness of Lekki. Cameras clicked. Recorders beeped. Live streams ran on every social media platform. Amarachi stepped onto the stage, not as a victim, not as a lost heir, but as a young woman who had risen above betrayal, poverty, sabotage, and power games. Her black suit was tailored. Her voice calm and measured. Her eyes burning. I was mocked, not because I lacked ability, but because I lacked wealth. Today, I no longer need to be wealthy to be heard, because I have truth, and truth has power. Gasps echoed as she revealed the documents. Audio files of bribery. Chat messages between Dora and Chief Chabiz's assistant. Proof of 80 million laundered from the Ikena Education Fund. She ended with, I am Emeka Ikena's daughter, and today I reclaim his name not just with blood, but with fire. Within 48 hours, Dora was arrested for corporate fraud and perjury. 2 board members resigned. Chief Chabiz was summoned by EFCC for questioning. A month later, Amarachi walked into the principal's office at St. Evelyn's College, the same school where her journey began. She stood tall in the same hallway where she was once laughed at for wearing stitched sandals. The principal rose nervously. Miss Ikena, good morning. We weren't expecting you. I'm here for a reason, she replied. Then she handed him an envelope. Inside was a bank-certified check. Greater than 980 million. Purchase, 100% acquisition of St. Evelyn's College. Everyone was stunned. You're buying the school? He asked, stunned. No, I'm buying back my dignity. And I'm rebuilding this place so that no child is ever judged by the cost of their shoes again. Under her new ownership, everything changed. School fees were revised to accommodate more scholarships. Uniforms were provided to underprivileged students. A legacy library was built and named after her late father, ENGR. Emeka Ikena. A new debate hall was named after her mother. When she walked into assembly on the first day of her official ownership, every student rose to their feet, some from fear, others from awe, but most from respect. Mitchell sat in the second row, her eyes wide and haunted. Amarachi walked past her and paused. You once said I'd never amount to anything, she said quietly. Now I own the chair you're sitting on. But don't worry, I don't hold grudges. I only hold standards. She walked away, her voice echoing the hall like thunder wrapped in grace. Amarachi stood on the balcony of her father's old estate, now fully restored. Beside her stood her mother, tears in her eyes. You did it, her mother whispered. You changed our story. Amarachi smiled. No, Mama, I just turned our scars into stars. The sky stretched above her, wide, limitless. She had once been the poor girl mocked for daring to dream. Now, she was the woman who bought the very place that once tried to break her. And this was just the beginning.